Welcome to the OhioRAAM Show.
Well, hello everybody. Jim Lawyer here. You're watching another live episode of the OhioRAAM Show, the show about all things UltraCycling. Hey, Lee.
Hi, Jim. I'm sure glad to have you back with us.
Yep, been a little bit. Unfortunately, things happen, but I'm back here, and hopefully we'll be back for a while.
Well, let's hope so too.
Definitely.
It's been rough without you, and we thought we would. The weather here in Ohio has been snowy today, and
Definitely.
we thought we'd add a little flavor there as well. And we want to say that we come to you because of the wonderful people who operate our time stations in the race across America here in Ohio. Time stations 41 in Oxford, Ohio, 42 in Blanchester, Ohio, and 43 in Chillicothe. That's Jim's spot on the OhioRAAM Show.
Definitely.
Hey, and we want to say a word we keep forgetting about mentioning Mike Midium. He is the sign man here in Ohio. Everybody.
There we go. Loves the signs.
Loves the signs. And you know what, Jim? I am looking over here, and I don't think we're live on Facebook.
Really? That's no good. It's got the little checky mark by it.
Yeah, it's got the check mark, so we should be there. I sure don't see us, though.
Well,
although we've got, all our viewers. Well, we got it's crazy. Everybody's on YouTube tonight.
Yeah, I see one on Facebook.
Yeah, one on Facebook. That might be me. I don't know. But yeah, it's crazy. I just don't. I see us. We're on YouTube, okay, over here. But be that as it may, Mike Midium. Everybody appreciates Mike. If you've been on the Race Across America, you know from the middle part of Indiana to the middle part of Ohio, we have these wonderful signs, and Mike does a great job with those.
Yep.
Well, like I said, it's good to have you back with us.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Yeah, and we want to just take a moment to say that Australia Day is coming up here this week, and we want to say a shout out to all of our friends in Australia.
Beautiful land.
We have so many supporters there,
Definitely.
and we appreciate it. Hey, we've got viewers from Facebook now. It's something's really crazy going on here.
And while we're talking about Facebook and YouTube, remember to follow us and subscribe.
Absolutely.
Facebook and YouTube.
Hey, and when you're subscribing over there on YouTube, ring that bell.
Definitely.
Okay. Jim.
Don't have a lot of news, but we do have a couple things we want to give a shout out about.
Yep.
First, we'll talk about the upcoming RAM seminars for the crew and riders, etc. Be sure to get out there and do those. They're great time. I'll be in the first set, January 29th through the 30th. And I know, Lee, you've been there because that's your picture up there, correct?
I took that picture, as a matter of fact.
Definitely.
I'd like to know how many hours that took to fix, because you've got Fred Bothling, who was in the dark. The window behind him is white, and the screen is white. That was quite a challenge.
Yep, and you can, hang on, let me get that back up there. Yep, hitting the wrong button, I guess. Go to ramrace.org, crew seminars, to sign up. And they fill up pretty quickly.
Yeah,
but it's very enlightening, and a lot of good information comes out of those.
You learn a heck of a lot there.
Definitely. Especially if you're a new crew or new rider.
Yeah, it's all going to be on Zoom this year, I guess, Jim.
Yep, that's the way we did it last year, and it was very good.
Yeah, that makes it handy, because they were having three, one in London, one in the East Coast here, one here in Columbus, and one in California, but that's a lot handier. Yeah.
It's very well worth the time. I highly recommend it. And the other thing that we want to give a shout out to is one of our supporters, $10 Bike Club. They're giving a 6-month free trial membership away right now to anybody that sends an email to admin at 10 Bike Club. Just send them your first and last name, and they'll send you an invite, and you'll be on one of the best social bike platforms there is. No issues whatsoever.
Hey, that's a good deal.
Yeah, definitely.
We also want to take a moment. I put a slide up here, Jim, for tomorrow.
Yes.
The guys out there in Boulder are going to start something new with Zoom, and they're going to do an interview with Dustin. Dusty's been on the show I don't know how many times.
Mm-hmm.
She's been a reporter. She's a good thing, and that's going to be on Zoom. And if you'd like to join in and talk to, well, I guess it's going to be interactive through Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
You can't talk to her. You can text. The 7 o'clock Mountain Time. Well, you'll have to figure that out. And on the OhioRAAM Show.com website, the link to that Zoom meeting is there.
Definitely.
So take that.
And there's the website, OhioRAAMShow.com.
Right.
Why doesn't that want to stay?
Hey, you're
kind of retrain me every time I'm gone for more than a week.
You've been gone so long.
What buttons what?
You're one of these guys, if they go out to lunch, they have to be retrained when they come back.
Exactly it. Yeah. That's the way it is anymore.
I think so.
And one other thing that we want to give a shout out real quick, I'm going to throw a little teaser out. Be sure to watch next week. We're going to start doing some live virtual events coming up that'll be sponsored by or involve OhioRAAM as well as B-Cycling News out of London. So it'll be a very exciting time using Zwift and RGT.
Okay, and I guess we can find the links and stuff to that on the...
they will be on the show notes next week when we make some announcements.
Show notes next week? Okay,
yes,
very good. And we do want to just say a word of care to our very, very good friend, Christy Tracy. Christy was hit by a car this week. She had suffered some pretty serious injuries. We won't go into it. But I think, Jim, we can almost say for certain that puts her out of RAW this year. She was going to do the race across the West. Unless she does a more remarkable return. But who knows? It's Christy. Who knows what she might do.
Yeah, speedy recovery.
We wish her the best recovery, and particularly during this time when she's dealing with a lot of pain and what have you.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
So, Christy, our best to you. You've been on the show so many times. You've been a reporter and all that sort of stuff. We do love you, and we send out all our cares to you.
Definitely, and the chats are live. So get your post out there. Let us know where you're from if you're watching. We'll give you a shout out. If you have any questions for our 2 guests that are upcoming, be sure to post those also.
And if you can't think of anything else to put there, just tell us how wonderful we are. And does that get you any better chance in the lottery that's coming, the draw that's coming up?
It might, yes. I might have, we get some kind words. We may tweak it a little bit.
What are we giving away tonight?
We really didn't talk about that. Hopefully, you want to give a $10 full membership away?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, we'll do that tonight. Okay.
We'll give a $10 Bike Club membership away. And I think we're ready to talk about next week, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Mike Stableford from High Wycombe in England, and I'll be racing the Race Across America this year as a male solo under 50. And I'm riding for 2 amazing children's charities, the Pace Centre and Action for Youth. You can hear all about my race, me and my charities on the OhioRAAM Show this coming Sunday at 10 p.m. British time. But the guys on the show will post a link for the times for your particular part of the world. So come along, get involved. You can ask questions on Facebook and YouTube, and hopefully we'll see you there.
Okay, and
excellent.
I've changed our date for scheduling to Thursday each week, so on the Facebook page, our YouTube page,
Mm-hmm.
on the World UltraCycling page on Facebook, on the RAM forum page on Facebook. Those appear, and when you do, you'll see the time in our part of the world. It's been we've spent too much time talking to ourselves here, Jim.
I know we got to get our
Hey,
two great guests
let's
on.
get some comments, folks.
Yeah,
Just tell us,
definitely.
if nothing else, tell us where you're from. I guess they don't want to tell us how good we are.
I'll get on there and post so I'm in the drawing for the end of the show.
You can post it. I can do it over here
There you go.
on this screen, I think. So tell us about yourself and so forth, and let's get these wonderful women on here. First of all, let's go to cold Minnesota. May Kindler, how are you, May?
Hey, May.
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you
Excellent.
two doing today?
What's
Very
the weather
good.
like up there?
It's pretty cold. I think we're in single digits. I've lost track. We've got
You
more
guys
snow, of
win.
course, so-
We're in double digits, but cold.
There you go. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, well that's okay. And then let's go to New York. I guess you're further north than New York a little bit too, aren't you, Rose?
Oh yeah, we're upstate New York, so we're about 23 degrees, I think, right now. Very chilly.
Okay.
Excellent.
I'm going to edit her mic a little bit.
Okay. And it looks like May, you got a fan out there from Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's a good friend. Great riding friend, and she
Excellent.
was amazing support during the time trials back in October. So
Awesome.
Very
One of your
good.
crew, actually?
yes, yeah, she was my member. So that
Awesome.
guaranteed how I won.
That is great.
Okay. Well, we brought you two in here because both of you won your age categories in the World Time Trials Championships here back in whenever, I forget, last fall. And we just wanted to say a word about you and learn something about you. So what we'd like you to talk to one another. So first of all, May, tell us about yourself and what would you like to find out about Rose that you don't already know?
Oh yeah, good question.
There you go.
So hi everyone who's watching. My name is May Kindler. I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota. I've been biking, at least road biking, for the last close to 10 years. Just always kind of had a love for biking since I was a young child, and now more and more looking for those longer distance events and just kind of challenging myself. So yeah, I think for Rose, I know we talked last week and learned quite a bit about each other, but yeah, maybe an event that you've never done, UltraCycling or otherwise, that maybe you have your sights set on for the future down the road, or maybe even trips. I know you're retiring soon. You and your husband do a lot of bike trip travel. I'd love to hear kind of thoughts on that.
Sure. My name is Rose Hewig, and I'm from Valatia, New York, which is upstate near Albany. I got a chance to talk to May. It was a great conversation. It's great to meet you, May. The way I got into cycling, my husband rides it also, and we did bike tours. We would go on vacation on our bikes. So we've done a couple, tours, of course, in the United States. We've been across the country 3 times on our bikes, supported tours. We've done some international tours. We've biked in the Pyrenees, the Dolomites. We've, in France, in Italy. We've had some great tours, great way to travel. And then I just, like you, May, I just love being on my bike. I love riding my bike. Nice long rides are fantastic. And then I just got into UltraCycling, and my first race was the Borrego Springs 6-hour race back in 2016. And I just got hooked. I just loved it. I had a great time. And so my longest distance race that I've done is the Hoodoo 300. I did that in 2017, and I just did it in 2021. And I think my next kind of want to push the envelope some more for myself and see if I can do a longer race, a 500-mile race. I'm signed up for a 400-mile race in Tennessee in October. So we'll see how that goes. But you know, I have a great support system. My husband is my support, so he goes with me in every race. So it's always good to have, you know, someone you can depend on that knows you and helps you out. So that's where I am. What do you have in your future, May? What are you thinking about this year?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Admittedly, I don't have anything specific scheduled. The shirt that I'm wearing, Miles for Matches, was a fundraising event that I did for the place where I work, which is Big Brothers Big Sisters Twin Cities here in Minnesota. I had proposed to the development team almost a year ago if they would be interested in doing a fundraising event if I biked 1,000 miles in a week. And they were on board for it. Maybe thought that they weren't quite sure what to think really about that distance. And certainly that wasn't admittedly something I had done before. So most recently talked to one of our development team members again about the idea of round 2. So potentially putting that on the docket for this year. But, you know, admittedly for me, I think it's just all about being on the bike and trying to get in those miles. I have a group of friends here in Minnesota. One group that I ride with early in the morning is called First Light. Many of those members are way more committed than I am, but they start at 5 a.m.
Wow.
So as much as I
Wow.
can, love to get up. I admittedly have to get up. I typically like 3:45, 4 a.m. so I can get a little bit of food in my stomach because I can't ride totally empty, admittedly. So, but it's great.
Sure.
I mean, especially early on when the days are so long, you're seeing that sunrise. The traffic is low. It's just beautiful. They are strong, fast riders. So honestly, I think a lot of the successes that I've had over the last year plus have been thanks to being a part of that group. And, you know, certainly have a core group that, you know, weekend riding. I have some friends who have gotten me into some gravel riding, although I don't have my own gravel bike, but I feel fortunate that people are willing to, you know, let me borrow bikes, let me borrow equipment. So honestly, I don't think I would have a lot of the experiences I have had without these friends in my life. So really appreciative of that. Rose, I just love hearing about all of your experiences in terms of travel and racing, and aspire definitely to be you know, someone who gets to experience those things as well someday.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to talk you into going to Florida in February. it's you know, the best thing about these endurance races is the people you meet. Definitely. I think you know, your fellow competitors, the people that run the races, your crew, and the you know, other people's crew. Everybody is just, you know, good spirits and you know, good sportsmanship and helping everybody out. And it's just a great environment. I'm always very comfortable in any race I've ever done. And in terms of traveling, I wish it was easier to travel with your bike on a plane. And that's always the sticking point. It's expensive. And then, you know, fortunately, my husband is a, I mean, he's not a paid bike mechanic, but he knows enough about bikes to be a bike mechanic. And he's there. He puts my bike together for me. He you know, puts it in the box for me. He takes care of all of that. If I had to do that by myself, I'd have to learn, you know, I'd have to learn how to do it. The way he does it, though, I just wish it was easier to travel with your bike. But once we get there, we get the bike out, and it's, you know, I'm so looking forward to going to Florida in February because it's going to be warm, and here we're freezing, and we just have a good time. And it's in the vacations. I'll tell you, taking your vacation on your bike, there's nothing like it, especially if you go to Europe, because they love bicycles over there. And you strike up conversations with people, you know, the local people, and they're so nice. And there's, you know, the language barrier may be there, but most of them speak English, and you kind of can communicate. But I totally encourage it. I think, May, you got a great future ahead of you. The fact that you love riding your bike, that's the number one thing, I think.
Right. Definitely that platform for building off of. And yeah, just kind of, I think, making the time for it, saving the money for it, and those experiences. Admittedly, it's something, Rose, that came to mind since you're heading to Florida soon. Is, I guess, what your training plan has been like, approaching especially a winter race like that when you're somewhere so cold, in comparison. And then, race day, kind of what is your plan of attack for that 24-hour race you have ahead of you?
I usually do the 12-hour race when I go to Sebring.
Mm-hmm.
But this is my first year. I'm going to try the 24-hour. And, I kind of laugh at myself because there's no way for me. I mean, I couldn't ride outside today. It was just too cold. I've been in my basement riding on my trainer. And that's just going to have to, it's going to be like that's going to have to do. And whenever I go into any of these races, I always say, do the best that you can. And at the end of the race, I just hope to be able to say, I did the best I could do. And Definitely. It's not always going to be like I think I'm going to be undertrained for this race, but I'm going to do it and see how well I can, what I can do in 24 hours. It's a good race. The last 12 hours of it is on the track, on the racetrack. So it's safe, it's lit. And I think it's a good race to kind of test my mettle out on the 24. So it'll be interesting. Just going to have to drink a lot of coffee to stay awake.
There you go.
It's hard to practice staying awake, but I'm just looking forward to it. It'll be fun. I'll make it fun no matter what.
That's awesome. Now, because both of you guys live in cooler climates, do you do a lot of training on the trainers, like on one of the online platforms, or do you just sit and watch TV?
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
I have my TV set up. I just do my training programs. I have a smart trainer, and I use that. Sometimes I'll do I use full gas.
Yep.
And sometimes I'll do a ride on there, but I do my rides there. I try to do one in the morning, and sometimes I'll do one in the evening.
Yeah.
Just to get through it because I work during the day.
Right.
So what about you, May?
Yeah, I mean, very similar. I use Zwift. I don't have a smart trainer, but I have enough of the technology required to connect. So kind of living in that virtual world is, at first I didn't know what to think about it. Admittedly, every year that you start that indoor training, it's tough. I won't lie. Sitting there for a long time. No, you're not going anywhere. You don't have wind resistance. Your butt starts to hurt.
Yep.
It's just a different adjustment. But it is fun. I mean, during the early stages of COVID, connecting with folks that I had met on RAAM, folks are familiar with that, the Register's annual Great Bicycle Ride across Iowa.
Going again this year.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know that I'll be there this year, but hopefully again in the future.
Awesome.
But yeah, connecting with folks out of states and being able to do that in a virtual world is a lot of fun. And just Zwift is really great at putting out events and little races and just kind of a fun time. I used to train indoors with a group called Total Cycling Performance. And with COVID, things have shifted a bit in terms of how, classes are offered. But that was one way, consistently for a few years that, you're held accountable. You have to go there, 1 to 2 days a week, depending on the schedule. You're with a great group. Everyone's just sweating it out together. So indoor riding is pretty much number one. I do also have a fat bike, so try and get out for just more fun, casual rides. Admittedly, though, I think I've ridden my fat bike more in the summer than I have.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to say that, but sometimes road conditions and just safety. Maybe I'm a little paranoid. Who knows?
It definitely can get dangerous out there.
Well, this question's for both of you. May 1st, do you have a snow bike?
Yes. Yep. So I do have a fat bike. I've had it for a few years. I remember that first year of riding it, just playing around, in the snow locally where I live, just kind of getting out there, wiping out, kind of learning, okay, what pressure is appropriate, how much is too much, still trying to learn where the trails are best for fat biking, not getting in the way of skiers or hikers. So sometimes for me, it's like, okay, well, I'll just go out onto the road. There might not be quite as much snow, but at least I'm outside on a bike. So yeah, I think it's a lot of fun.
Rose,
I
you're
also
on the.
have a,
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, no, I'd say I also have a fat bike. I love it. It's so much fun. Unfortunately, we haven't had a lot of snow, but it's been too cold for me to go out on the weekends lately. But I just, the first time I had my fat bike, I went out in the snow and we had all this powdery, fluffy snow. And I was just slipping and falling. And it was a real learning experience. I was just like, okay, this is, this is not as, but the great thing about a fat bike is you feel invincible because it can go anywhere, especially if you're riding it in the summer like you do, May. It's so sturdy. You can just go anywhere.
You're on you have the Adirondacks just north of you there, don't you? That should have some wonderful biking.
Yeah, it's a bit of a distance for us to go up there and ride. So I don't generally. We have some great trails right around where we live. I live in Columbia County, and we have some wonderful gravel roads and trails that we can use here. 5 minutes from my house.
Jim, there's people out there who ought to tell us that you're here at least.
Definitely.
Where you're from.
Exactly.
Get your name in the hopper here at least.
Yeah. There's Jane out there watching again. Thanks for posting, Jane.
Have you met Jane at the World Time Trials by any chance?
No, I don't know that I have.
I think she was there. She gets around. I think, Jane, I spotted your name, didn't I, for Texas Hell Week, or you're going to do either the 500 or 200 there, the Stampede, and what is the other one Jim's called?
I don't know. They've changed the name, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm no good with names. So, we're going to, Sandy Earle's going to report for us, Jim, from
definitely
from the Texas Hell Week, and maybe we'll get somebody from the races at the end of the week.
Excellent.
So come on, just tell us where you're at.
Yep.
It won't hurt at all. Just down there in the comments section of YouTube or Facebook, and
excellent. Yes, definitely.
Otherwise, it's going to be a pretty foregone conclusion here. Well, not foregone, but
50-50.
You're going to have a heck of a chance. Yeah.
There you go. I've got a question for both of you. Did you take anything really important away from the World Time Trials that you learned this year, or?
I did. I had my best personal record this year.
Excellent.
And I'm finally learning, I think, how to fuel myself, eating during the race, because I traditionally have a hard time just making sure I have enough to eat. It just gets away from me. It gets to the point where I don't want to stop. I don't want to eat. But this year I just made a concerted effort. I used liquid nutrition and some food, but that's a continuing learning experience for me. And I think I had the best result this year because I really concentrated on that.
Excellent.
May, what about you?
Yeah, immediately as a first timer, I took in as much advice as I possibly could. Although I know, Rose, when you were talking last week, I said that I went into it just wanting to have fun and ride my own ride. I was on a road bike, not a time trial bike, no aero bars, things like that. So really just wanted to do my best. Ultimately, the top things that come to mind for me, though, was having a support crew. Specifically, I know I mentioned Pat earlier, but she was my person. And without her, there's no way that I could have spent, under 2 minutes off my bike in order to, just keep moving. And that's what a lot of folks told me is you just want to stay on your bike and keep moving. And again, without her support, wouldn't have been able to do that. The other piece was around nutrition. So one of our friends, Steve, he and I had a chance at least once, if not twice, to talk over the phone about nutrition. For me on long rides, when I'm on my own, I'm going at my own pace, of course, and not thinking I'm not racing for any purpose. So I do tend to make like convenience store stops, eating solid food. I have a set hydration with water and a mix of some kind. But this one, I stuck to a specific kind of gel and liquid hydrations, and that worked well. I didn't have an upset stomach. That was a concern of mine, is whether or not that, I would need something that I'm used to, or would I be okay on something different? So practice with the new nutrition and hydration, certainly in advance of the time trial. But those are pieces that, if I do this again or do, just long distance in general, keeping those things in mind, always, staying on your bike as much as possible, and practicing that nutrition and hydration.
What was that word "if" in there? What's that "if" stuff?
It's all about whatever is happening in life. Certainly setting goals. I think for me, there are certain events, I would certainly do the world time trials again. Kind of debating whether I would bump up to the 12 and consider talking to some folks about doing it as a team, just having fun in that way. Or just looking, admittedly, there are so many UltraCycling events out there, looking for that next challenge to experience. Maybe, again, like we've talked about earlier, getting to travel somewhere different. So, if it's just, it's just a word, but certainly have plans to make new goals and set the bar higher.
Gotcha. Now, what would be the one or two things that you would tell somebody that wants to get into UltraCycling? Based on your experience getting into it, what would you guys suggest? How would somebody do that?
Sure. I can kick it off. Something that I had said for when I did this fundraiser ride last summer, riding 1,000 miles in a week is not something that you get up and decide to just do. If you haven't been riding, miles and miles. So start small. I know, that's something that people commonly say with anything. Start small, start with a little bit of time. But that's really it. Build yourself up. If you can find a group to ride with, find someone who maybe is willing to write out training plans for you. And really, for me, a lot of it is mental. Of course, there's the physical piece too, but so much of the time, when I think through time trial back in October, or even the fundraising ride that I've talked about, was more about talking myself that I can do this. Your body is capable. You just have to kind of push past those limits. So kind of in a nutshell, start small, work your way up, find people who have that same mindset, who have experienced these events before. They're not necessarily the typical. So you'll need to find people who think that going out for fun for 150 miles is not, something crazy.
Yeah, a short ride, right?
Right. Exactly.
Well, I've never done 1,000 miles in a week like May has. I think that's amazing. Kudos to you. But I would echo everything that May said. And I would also just add, just be patient with yourself. Not every ride is a good, a great ride, but no matter what you're doing, just have fun. Have fun, enjoy yourself, enjoy being, you'll get training rides, and in training ride, you got to be, really concentrating, and you definitely have to work hard, but don't forget to look around and just appreciate, where you are and what you're seeing, and being on your bike, and having the freedom and ability to do what you're doing. That's to me, that's so important. And that's what gets me out there and on these long rides.
Yeah.
And just like May said, start small, definitely small, build up.
What would you say to other women who want to get into the sport? Do it or don't do it? Do it.
Do it. Do it.
Yes.
Do it.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to fail. Just do it. I mean, just, it's not fail. You think it's fail, but don't be afraid to just do it, because everybody out there is rooting for you, and it's all good. It's all a good thing.
Yeah. And the UltraCycling community is so tight-knit and very friendly, and they'll help you learn, etc., from what I've seen. How about you guys?
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. I mean, I've got such good advice, and just talking to people, chatting, being friends with them on Facebook, connecting with people. Just, it's been invaluable.
Definitely. And go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, even, the fact that we got connected, Rose and I, through this opportunity, making that time together to chat last week. And now, knowing that we'll stay connected moving forward,
Yep.
it's just one more person in your network that
There you
you can tap into. So.
Yep. And one of our listeners, Rachel, is what brand of liquid nutrition? For both of you, I guess.
I use Spiz.
Nice.
Spiz.
And Hammer is one of the ones I use.
Okay. Excellent. I know there's a lot of brands. I guess it's whatever really works for you based on what I've talked to other people about. Yes. You just got to try, and if it works, go for it, right?
But it's funny that May was talking about stopping at convenience stores on your long rides. I do the same thing, and that's where I try different things. Like that's where I'll say, well, let me see what this is like. Let me see, and you gotta sometimes it's trial and error to find what works for you. So those training rides are a good time to just take a chance on something. If because I get a lot of advice and people say, oh, do this, do that. So that's where I maybe test things out.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody said Nutter Butter they liked at the convenience store.
Oh.
Very good.
Good vegan food.
Yeah.
Okay. May, I didn't research this, but you were one of the younger writers there, I believe, among the women. And did you set a record in your age group?
I don't believe so. I think there are other, as far as I know, I don't think so, that there are other women
okay. I
definitely surpassed me.
Didn't want to credit you as something you hadn't accomplished, but I know that
Thank you.
it was remarkable that and we're always happy to see the younger writers, and you are younger because this is a sport. I mean, tomorrow at the Zoom meeting, a Zoom interview with Dusty Dustin. And again, that's on the OhioRAAMShow.com website, the link to it. Don't miss it. Dusty is a great person. It's in another room, but I have a wonderful piece of art she did for me personally, and I really love that. She's going to be on, and that is she's riding in the 70-79 age category.
Yep.
And at the World Time Trials, I believe she rode in both the 6 and the 12, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
She did. Yes.
Both. 12 wasn't enough for Rose. She had to add another 6 on there. Rode in 2 different races, back to back, and that's quite something. So don't miss that with Rick, the Rick and George show. Rick Bothling and George Thomas will be there, and Jim. Hey, these people are so shy; they're just going to miss out. Let's do that drawing. And
all right, let me get that up here real quick.
While you're doing that, let's just say, ladies, don't go away. When we end the show, let's stick in there for just a little bit. We'll chat with you, okay?
Last chance for anybody that wants to comment.
Yeah, we had so many last week, we couldn't keep track of them all. And now, I don't know, Jim.
Yeah, it's because I wasn't here. I know.
I guess
they wanted to make you work, Lee.
I was going nuts keeping track of all the comments.
All right, here we go.
Let's go.
1 in 3 chance tonight.
Yeah.
For a $10 Bike Club year membership. Jane. Awesome, Jane.
Tell Jane how to win that. How to get a hold of you.
Send your info to winner@OhioRAAMShow.live, and we'll get that out to you.
Okay, very good. And
excellent.
We want to thank you ladies for being with us tonight.
Definitely. And Rose, we'll see you in Sebring for sure.
Right.
And hopefully we'll see you, May, in Sebring, right?
The OhioRAAM Show is going to be represented in Sebring this year in the person of Jim Lawyer. If you're out there in Sebring, be sure to stop in and say hello to Jim when you see him out there. We do very much appreciate
Yeah.
what he's
And
doing.
We may have some OhioRAAM Show swag to give away out there too.
Yeah, we've got sweat. You know, I mean, this is such precious stuff. You got to have it.
There you go. We'll have some autographed Lee Kreider pictures to give away. See, I got your back for that one.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm sure that your email box is going to be flooded, Jim, tomorrow
Yep.
with requests for my autographed picture.
Definitely.
I can't see how anybody would not want that. Thank you for watching.
Yes,
those
thank
of you
you
who are
guys.
watching, thank you for making comments. And for those of you who are shy, well, I don't know. What are we going to do?
There you go.
With
But
that,
all right, then.
we're
Good
going
night,
to
everybody.
say goodbye,
you.
everyone. Goodbye,
Goodbye.
ladies. Bye.
Thank you.
This is Gregory Zuber, thanking you for watching and sharing.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.